What's up? Holy cow. Holy cow. How you guys doing out there? Markets are crazy. We need to parry this bad boy up. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do. It's crazy, man. Holy cow. Markets. Oh, what kind of day it is. Panic crying before live stream. Me too. Crypto on sale. Take a breath. The world is ending. I just want Lark to tell me it's all going to be okay. Not that there's much at all left after today. Yep. Guys, been a pretty crazy few days in the markets. In case you haven't noticed, we went from things being relatively okay last week, grinding along, talking about ETF flows and all that kind of stuff, to global contagion events. Potentially, I don't want to say it's our black swan event of the market, but what's happening in Japan right now is 100% sending shockwaves right around the world right now. Increased risk of a U.S. recession. U.S. stock market's freaking out about that. And of course, some shit's got to go down in the Middle East, doesn't it? Just to compound all the fun at the same time. Crypto markets have been absolutely savaged beyond belief. It's been pretty disgusting to watch. Now, first off, we have to start with this thought. We got a lot of news breakdown today. We got what's going on in the crypto markets, what the charts are doing, a lot of stuff. We'll try and get through as quickly as possible to get to your questions in the second half of the stream. Now, first things first. There are two wolves inside of me right now. The first says, screw it, ball, let's ride it. The second says, stable up, preserve capital, market can remain irrational longer than I can stay sane. Currently, I'm choosing the second option. Now, obviously, it's a very inopportune time to sell, and I've been selling a little bit over the weekend. Mostly some of the altcoin positions. We'll do a more thorough breakdown on the altcoin positions I've been selling down. Most of them have been in profit, some selling a loss. Those are usually the smaller, more speculative positions. But I've been selling down some of the altcoin positions, moving that into cash. A few important reasons for that. One, in my greed, as the market was getting very exciting, I took loans versus my Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so out of fear that the market could get crazier than I think it can, I'm paying back those loans so that I don't have any liquidation risks on that front. That requires selling some coins, which is far from ideal, right? But it is what it is. Most of those positions are up in profit, and I think this event, what's happening in Japan, the reaction to it, it's taken me by surprise. It's been a pretty crazy few months, and we are still in the range, which is insane for Bitcoin, but it's been a pretty crazy 4 or 5 months now where we just run to the top of the range, back down the bottom of the range, run to the top of the range, back down the top, bottom of the range. And it's been driving me freaking crazy, man. Watching my net worth surge and fall by millions of dollars. It's taking a toll on me, guys. It's taking a toll on me. I need to de-risk a bit of this. So we're paying down the loans and we're taking some cash out. We're still going to have plenty of crypto left. I'm not fully exiting the markets at this point. Okay, if I see a major breakdown of range, though, I could consider that, going all into cash and letting it roll out. Right now, I don't think that's happened yet. Okay, but I am de-risking quite a bit in the market, all these speculative altcoin positions. Look, here's the thing. I'm not going away from crypto. I think people need to always understand this. You can sell and buy back later. And the risk management in me, again, guys, we're talking huge positions here, and whatever's going to be left is still going to be huge positions. But the need to lock in some of those profits in the event that things get crazier than I expect them to. Maybe it's just PTSD, being around from like the COVID crash and stuff like that. And like what's going to happen in US markets when they wake up, and start trading. I know that the SPX futures, I haven't looked at them recently, but they were trading negative, and so we've got Japan's stock markets melting down bad. They had to hit the circuit breakers to stop the selling, and Iran promising to strike Israel in the next few hours and telling other Arab nations, Persians, the Iranians are not Arab, but they're telling the Arab nations that if you dare to intervene like you did on our previous strike, you'll be targets too. So things are getting pretty crazy. Okay. Steven says, dang, Lark got shaken out. It's like I said, man, the stress of, and you guys can roast me all you want. Have a good time. Okay. At the end of the day, I got to take care of my family and make sure that we are preserving our wealth. And if selling down a portion of my crypto portfolio is the answer to that, even now, okay? Even now. If that is the solution here to de-stress myself, because again, the too much of my family's net worth is riding in crypto right now, and I need to de-risk some of that. It's a terrible time to de-risk. I was obviously hoping that, hey, we're going to range higher and get back up to 90K sooner. I still think that's going to happen. When is the question? Okay. And if I'm wrong and things recover much faster than I think they're going to, great. Then I can rebuy some of those positions. And look, some of the altcoins, we got to be honest, man. Some of these altcoins have been pretty damn rubbish anyway. So, yeah. Yeah. Some of those altcoins have been pretty rough, man. You got to keep it real, man. Like, it's been a very rough year for holding a lot of these altcoins. And yeah, look, some of these things are getting out at like 50% profit instead of 200% profit, right? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's about preserving capital and living to fight another day instead of getting myself completely rinsed out and taking too much risk. I've taken too much risk this year and I need to now rinse that risk out in my portfolio, which is what I'm currently doing and paying the cost for doing that. So there's that. Okay. Some of the coins will take a few weeks to unstake. We'll see what the prices of those coins are like when they're unstaking, but I think it'll be a good chance to clean up and refocus on some of the portfolio anyway. But you got to keep it real, man. Most of the cryptocurrency altcoins have been just savaged beyond belief this year. There's been a few areas. There's been a few areas where, there's been outperformance, right? Solana, for example, and a few other things. Meme coins, right? But, at the end of the day, most of the altcoins have been terrible. Most of my altcoin investments have turned out terribly so far this year. And, again, it's time to de-risk. And again, you guys can roast me all you want over that. That's fine. Have a good time with that. When I deem it appropriate, when I see more strength in the market, that money can re-enter the market. But right now, I need to get a good night's sleep. And worrying so much about the numbers going up and down, it's driving me crazy right now. So I'm de-risking a bit of my portfolio, okay? You can ask me more about that in a few minutes, but we got to talk about the big news that's going on, why everyone's freaking out in the first place, and why I changed my opinion on what's going on in the market right now, okay? So a few big things, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overreacting, right? And that's fine. I can buy back higher, whatever. It's all good. It's all good, guys. It's all good. You got to remember, like, we're talking about big numbers here, and the crypto that's going to be left in my portfolio are still big numbers, so we're going to be fine. Don't worry. Right? If crypto goes on a massive rally by the end of the year, I'm still catching a lot of upside. If it doesn't, if I'm wrong on that, and I don't want to be wrong to the downside. I decided that the pain of further downside is not going to be equal to the joy of more upside at this kind of levels we're talking at. So, anyway, why are markets freaking out today? Of course, this is what's happened. First 2 days of August, Nikkei, Russell, everything down. And again, it pains me to have to even consider selling anything at these levels, but it is the PTSD for the markets. And back when we saw the 2020 thing happen, right? I was complacent. I didn't sell a damn thing. Watched everything plummet beyond belief. And we were talking about it for days, right? Leading up to that, is it going to still be so crazy? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So, and then what happened? The prices collapsed like crazy because of a global contagion event. And that was actually a contagion event, right? But in terms of this credit crisis that's going on from Japan, the Japan carry trade unwinding, U.S. recession fears, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, things are going to be crazy. Look, guys, if I see strength returning in the market straight away, great. I can buy back in. It's not a big problem, okay? If I continue to see weakness, great. I can wait and scoop up deals. Again, we're not talking about 100% of my crypto portfolio. And I see the comments, guys. Have a good time. Roast me all you want, okay? But at the end of the day, I need to preserve capital here. So that is what I've decided to do based on the news that I've seen over the last few days. When we get some more certainty, what's going on here, things chill out a bit more, we can reassess. Okay. It's actually interesting how balls to the wall I have been in crypto for years now, with gigantic portions of a net worth in crypto for years now. So anyway, let's continue. So Iran, last week, Israel had some big strikes against Iran and in Lebanon. And now there is a lot of fear that this is going to lead to a wider conflict. Iran basically saying, apparently U.S. diplomats have been flying in and Arab diplomats have been flying in, and Iran's been saying basically, everyone get out of here. We're retaliating, and we don't care if it leads to a wider war. I mean, you have to understand, this is the Straits of Hormuz, man. This is potentially going to have massive, if it happens, maybe cooler heads will prevail. And I hope that they do. War's terrible, and everything that's happening is terrible. We want cooler heads to prevail. But if they don't, if the hot heads prevail, and we have a big war in the Persian Gulf where 50% of the world's oil comes out of, we got some shit going on, man. And it's not going to be good. Okay. U.S. unemployment numbers are one of the things that have contributed to this. And by the way, I've seen all over the weekend people sort of just saying, buy the dip, man, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. It's been a falling knife all weekend. I've just been sitting watching it, doom scrolling Twitter. But basically, you don't need to try to rush to catch those falling knives. Look, if you've been playing the market well and you've got a bunch of extra cash in hand, see, I've been balls deep in crypto and I don't have that much cash on hand, which is part of my reason for wanting to take some profits off of some of these things that are still in profit. Even after the big retracements, they're still in profit. Some of these positions, because we got in them good and early. But I was in a pretty cash poor position. That makes me paranoid. I don't like that. Hey, I have money in the bank, I have gold and stocks, whatever. But anyway. Gordon says, if you sell instead of buy right now, you're foolish. Again, if you got a bunch of cash and all that stuff, you're probably in a decent position buying right now. But a lot of people have been trying to catch that falling knife all weekend, right? And people were buying at 60K, thinking that's the bottom, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Wait for a bottom to form up. Wait for a bit of strength to come back in the market. You might miss a few percentage points, but you can always buy back in, right? Okay. Where are we at right now for Bitcoin out of curiosity? 53.8, so under $54,000. There you go. And it's interesting because 52K a few months ago felt very different, because now we have so many things that are impending that can have very big economic impacts. Again, we can't ignore macro in these markets. A lot of people want to talk about it, and they're talking about, well, this minor crypto things happen. Like, that minor crypto thing don't mean shit, man. If the stock markets melt down, crypto's going right along with it. Crypto has by and large proven itself to be a risk on, risk off proxy bet, right? So if stock markets go down, Bitcoin's not going to magically go to the moon. It's going to go down with stocks. Okay. Does that mean it's a bad investment, or long-term it's not going to? Of course not, guys. I'm a massive long-term crypto bull. We're talking about a short-term situation that's freaking me out, man. And I think we still have great potential for a huge rally later on this year. But again, I want to preserve capital in case I'm wrong. I can always buy back in later. Oh, I'm going to miss out on 10 or 20% of the move. Who the hell cares? I'd rather miss out on 10 to 20% of upside and be able to re-enter with a bit more confidence in the market versus potentially face 30, 40, 50% downside. And maybe that's my PTSD talking again, guys. Anyway, labor markets, not loving it. U.S. employment rate, 4.3%, with a forecast of 4.1, coming in hotter than expected, triggering something called the SOM rule, which is basically the moving average for unemployment crossing over the 24-month moving average or something like that. We're going to do a video on that for you guys, break it down for you more. But not good. No bueno. Right now, there's a lot to that. There's a lot going on with that. You have to understand, like, yeah, part of that's like illegal immigrants being counted in this. And there was apparently like some hurricane or something that we didn't get all the full reporting data out of Texas, which could have made it look much more bullish, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, there you go. So market's not liking this. Market's not liking that at all, because it greatly increases the chance that a recession is going to come. The yield curve is currently about going to uninvert, pretty close to uninverting. When that uninverts, again, another recession signal for the U.S. markets. And guys, look, if the U.S. enters a recession sooner than look, the U.S. was always going to enter recession, okay? The only question is when. I still think that we have great potential for that recession can being kicked down the road a little bit, but I just don't want to be wrong to the downside, right? So I can always re-enter my positions later. But if that U.S. recession comes hot and fast, or sooner than expected, Jerome Powell, there's a lot of time between now and the September rate cuts, man. A lot of potential for crazy shit to go wrong, right? So this is spooking the markets big time because 4.3% this month, and the direction it's going in is the wrong direction. What was 5% next month? Bad news bears, okay? Bad news bears. Goldman Sachs increased their probability of U.S. recession within the next year from 25% to 15 from 15 to 25%. So okay, that's interesting. That Goldman Sachs it's 1 in 4 chance of a recession happening versus these indicators, which are saying recession's highly likely very soon. Now, is that going to be right? Who knows? Joe says maybe crypto isn't for you, Lark. Like I said, Joe, I think I pretty well explained the situation. I've overextended myself with risk, and I need to de-risk that. Again, everybody's making their own decisions. I'm not saying you should sell. Again, as we always like to say around here, this is me sharing what I'm doing in my portfolio. I've got my family to take care of. I've got my risk tolerances. I've got my profits, right? My entry points, and all that stuff is not going to be related to what you do in your portfolio, right? If you got a lot of cash sitting on the sideline, which I don't currently, I don't have a giant pile of cash. So I've been balls to the wall with crypto, all in. I've been all in all summer, or winter here in New Zealand, and it hasn't particularly done me a lot of favors when I should have de-risked more, and that was my mistake, right? And it's important to talk about these kind of mistakes, right? I'm not perfect. Right? I'm not perfect at the end of the day. I'm just a crypto investor like you guys. I happen to have a YouTube channel where we talk about it and share opinions on it. Okay, where are we up to? So 80% chance of 50 basis point cut by September after today's jobs numbers, unemployment up, manufacturing down, NASDAQ down, VIX spikes 58% today, highest level since 2022. That's one of those interesting things too, that when we have such big spikes on the VIX can sometimes mark the bottom. But then Japan markets open up today and crashed hard again, okay? A couple of days ago, the market was pricing in 2 or 3 cuts for 2024, now pricing in 4 to 5, and potentially it's all a bit too late. Warren Buffett and cash, we're going to skip over that. Do we have any stuff about Japan here? This is, VIX, right? Yeah, VIX spikes, market bottoms, tends to I thought I had a tweet up here about Japan. Maybe I don't. M2. Okay, this is actually bullish, but we'll come back to that in a second. So Nikkei opened pretty rough today. Now it wicked down to a key area of price support. That's interesting. Maybe price support holds. Maybe I'm rebuying my positions 20% higher in a few days. Who knows? We'll see. Again, it doesn't matter. I'm going to sleep a lot better knowing that I've protected a good portion of my capital versus taking a chance that things could get bad, right? In a weird way, it'd be crazy to see if we had a giant downturn like we did in 2020, right? A repeat of the 2019-2020 market cycle be insane. So we'll get to the comments in a few minutes. You guys have questions, we'll get to them. But anyway, so Japan, right now, what's something called the carry trade is unwinding. And that is basically that Japan's had very low interest rates for a very long time. So people have been borrowing money in Japan and buying like US stocks, US bonds, all that kind of stuff. Japan just raised the interest rates, causing panic in Japanese markets, Japanese stock markets cratering, Japanese yen cratering. I think the last time we had such a big cratering of the Japanese yen. Let's have that's in the Nikkei. The last time we had such a big cratering of the Japanese yen was quite a while ago. And it coincided with another major market downturn. Okay, so Japan's a very important economy. If there's chaos there, and due to their deep exposure to U.S. bonds, it can cause a lot of global chaos. As you can see, it's currently doing. Okay. Bitcoin, yikes. Look at that, man. Look at that. Now, I do need to point out, okay, very important. Hydrate. Bitcoin came right down to our area of price support. As insane as it seems, we're still in the range. We're still in the range, guys. Still in the range. As insane as that seems. The question is, will the range hold? Right? What's going to happen if Iran starts dropping bombs on Israel, when they start retaliating and a war breaks out in the Middle East? Again, we all hope cooler heads are going to prevail. And it's easy to just get complacent and say, hey, you know what? It's not going to happen. But then sometimes it does happen. Okay? And are you ready for downside risk if that does happen? This guy's saying, I don't care what the price drops to. I don't fall for it. The price is a lie, baby. Bye, 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 bye. True. True. And like I said, if I had a stronger cash position, I would be not only not worried about this, but probably adding to some positions, especially that becomes tempting. But be careful about catching those fallen knives, guys. Wait for a bit of strength to return the market. You might have to buy a few percent higher than trying to perfectly time the bottom and catch that falling knife. Okay. Chess Purist. Too busy yesterday to have a show. We do shows Monday to Friday, New Zealand time. Now, interesting. I know you're going to say, but Lark, didn't we have that buy signal on the hash ribbons a week ago? We did. What's interesting is that often we do see those drawdowns happen just after the hash ribbons flash. The problem, though, with any crypto-specific indicators right now is that crypto's not being driven by crypto right now, right? And there's some crypto-specific things going on that are definitely affecting the markets. We have, for example, Jump, one of the biggest market makers in crypto. These guys have been selling huge amounts of Ethereum, $500 million. They're unwinding their entire market-making business, dumping truckloads of altcoins, including Ethereum, pushed into the markets in weakness over the weekend, causing huge pain in the markets, adding to what was already a bad situation. And it's just been bad news for crypto. Stocks have rallied like crazy this year, but then all these crypto-specific unlocks and overhangs in Germany and all this bullshit kept pushing the price down and basically kept us range-bound for the last months on end. Look, break a 72K, that is a bullish moment in the market, and I'd rather wait for a bit of strength with the percentage of my portfolio that I'm selling down here, keeping that cash on side just for peace of mind, right? But here we go. This is the thing. This has been a specific situation, but what'll be interesting to see is how the market continues to price in all this insanity, right? The Iran stuff and whatever, and let's hope none of that stuff happens, right? Let's hope none of that stuff happens. But the market right now is being driven by macro, not by micro. Crypto's micro, okay? And we have to pay attention to the macro. We have to try as best as we can to understand what's going on in that situation. That requires looking at and thinking, okay, hey, you know what? What's going on with Japan, right? Well, Japanese stocks are melting down. Japanese yen's melting down, which is massive for Forex markets, massive for global markets. Japan's unwinding the carry trade, which means that they're going to be selling U.S. bonds, selling U.S. stocks as they rush back to safety. Yeah. All these things matter, right? And that's what's driving crypto markets right now. And we have learned, if you have been in the markets for years, you will have learned that when risk-off environments come, crypto risk-offs the hardest. I'm not sure if we're at that kind of level yet. And again, the two wolves. And wolf number one says the end of the year still have huge potential. Huge potential. Proof not to trust YouTubers. I'm literally telling you guys what I'm doing all the time here. Okay. I just share what I do. If it has value to you, fantastic. If not, say la vie. Yeah, Wolf One still thinks once we get through this sell-off things cool down a little bit, market rebuilds a bit of confidence, rate cuts come, we get our big last hurrah in the market before the recession does come. Or maybe it's the even more out there speculative situation where, holy cow, man, we're going to go full on balls to the wall risk here with the money printing, which is coming, right? US Treasury buybacks starting up in a few days, right? We have US money supply breaking new all-time highs. We have China printing money. This is all super bullish stuff, right? It's all super bullish stuff. And again, guys, please enjoy roasting me by all means, right? But taking some of the money off the table now, and it's not when I wanted to do it. I was, hope, okay, we're going to pump up to 90K and all this stuff. But then all this crap starts happening. And it, gave me the PTSD of, am I being too complacent in the market with my positions, right? Luis says, Lark, you have followers, lead by example. Do you think people can take you seriously after this? Luis, if it's a problem for you, my man, I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, it's your portfolio, it's my portfolio, and we have to adjust accordingly, okay? And as I've explained before, huge amounts of my total wealth are in crypto, and huge amounts of my total wealth are still going to be in crypto. We're not selling 100% of the positions, okay? We're taking off some of the altcoins that have been lagging behind. We're taking a little bit of other money off, things that are in profit, to pay down the debt, to make sure that there's no debt, no risk of liquidation for a bigger percentage of my collateral. So we're selling off, a few percent of my total portfolio here to protect 30, 40% of it that I've been using as collateral to take loans against, right? These are important things. Don't get rinsed out. I was too greedy this year. I took too much leverage in the form of loans on MakerDAO to buy more altcoins. Didn't work out. Hasn't worked out yet. And I can't take the risk that those collateral positions get liquidated. So I have to sell those down, but I also want to get a bit of cash on the side. So there's two things that work there. So look, if me managing my risk and not the best time, I fully agree with that, is something that you don't want to take me seriously for, by all means, man. That is your prerogative, 100%. 100%. Now let's go here. Interesting. August, often a red month for Bitcoin. Bitcoin crashed in 63% of cases during this time. Will this August be the same? Certainly looking like it. Certainly looking like a bad August in crypto. Will we recover by the end of the month? Be interesting to see. Josh saying, in hindsight, Bitcoin 70K was the obvious place to sell. It's always in hindsight, isn't it? It's always the top's always obvious in hindsight, but rarely when it's happening. Not saying that was the final market top. I still think we have great potential for the rest of the market, which is why I'm not selling all my positions, right? It'll be funny if $54,000 to $55,000 ends up being the obvious place to buy. It's kind of where we are right now. Be interesting. See if that holds. If that holds through US stock open, maybe I'll re-enter some of those positions. Some of the altcoins, screw it, man. Screw those altcoins, man. But like Manta, sold my Manta bag finally. Should have sold it ages ago. Should have sold it the second I got it from the airdrop. That was basically the all-time high prices. I went like a little higher like a week later. Manta, man. Cleaning house a bit too, getting rid of some of these things. Feels psychologically to not have that crap sitting around anymore. Anyway. Be curious to see if this is the spot for Bitcoin to pop or not, to pop back up or not. We shall see. Anyway, guys, let's open up the questions. That's kind of the general idea for the day. So we covered the macro insanity happening in the USA, Japanese carry trade unwinding, and Iran. Those are the things weighing heavy on the market today. Maybe the worst of it's over. Maybe right now is the best buying opportunity. That's your call to make. Normally, a oversold RSI position for Bitcoin, which we have right now, for Ethereum, which is deeply in the oversold territory currently. Solana, did it hit the oversold territory? I'm not sure it quite did. Gosh darn close, though. Let's say almost good enough, but everything's trading below their 200-day moving averages right now. Ethereum's below, Solana's below its 200-day moving average. Ethereum's deeply below its 200-day moving average. Bitcoin's below its 200-day moving average. None of that's great. None of that's great. This is the bull market line, the 200-day moving average. That's the key line in the market. So I would rather have a bit of peace of mind, and I can just re-enter later if I see the strength rebuilding back into the market. The inability for a lot of people to ever sell at all can be problematic. Again, it's definitely not the best time, and I might be buying back higher with the percentage of my portfolio that I've sold down. Fine. But regardless of what else happens, I have to dial down the risk on those loans. That's imperative. Okay? That's imperative because that's been keeping me up at night. And even though the liquidation points are really low, I know how this market is, and I know how freaking crazy shit can get when things really get pumping. Some days, the sell-offs in these markets can be beyond what you can imagine. And I can't take that risk. So that's why we're selling off small coin positions. Okay. Where are we up to? Let's go some questions, guys. Rockface told everyone 2 weeks ago it was going to crash. You're right, my man. What are your thoughts on... got liquidated on my ETH position. Sorry to hear that, Desmond. What are your thoughts on ETH right now? I think ETH, man, it's what a rough day for Ethereum. It went down like 25% or something at one point. Again, we had one of the biggest market makers unload a gigantic portion of that, and what an oversold RSI. Assuming that Iran doesn't start a World War III tomorrow and that U.S. stock markets don't completely implode tomorrow, well, that's something to watch out for, because look at that. Look at that right here. Very, very oversold RSI. Normally a buying signal. But look at that. Look how far below the 200-day moving average we are. That is seriously off base right here, okay? Seriously off base. Does it go much lower than this? I feel like a lot of the pain's probably done in the market, but we'll see. Again, we have two major things still to watch out for, plus what plays out for the rest of the day in Japanese markets. Maybe Japan's markets really rally, drag crypto up with it. Is that going to be just a dead cat bounce, a relief rally before things dive deeper later this week? Hard to say. Is the Fed going to have to intervene? Is Jerome Powell going to come out on Monday and announce emergency rate hikes? These things are always on the realm of probability, and that provides strength in the market. That people are going to like that. Absence of that, it's a long way till September 18th or whenever the next Fed meeting is, man. It's not very close. Not very close. Where are we up to? How many tabs do you need open? This is the real question. More. More. Lark, where are you leaving the cash in the meantime? Probably just in stable coins. We're stable enough. So we're just going to be in stable coins for a bit. Watch what happens. And look, again, if I'm completely off base here, then I can just re-enter higher. And it's not going to bother me to do that. But I would like to not have the risk in the market right now. As balls to the wall risk as I have been, because guys, we're balls to the wall risk on a huge portion of my net worth, and it's keeping me up at night. I want to have nice calm sleep again. It'd be great. And look, I was totally fine with that risk until Friday, when I started seeing, oh shit, we're heading all the wrong direction for the recession stuff. Japan's starting to melt down. The Iran stuff's starting to heat up. Those macro things worry me, and crypto is not immune to that. Israel took out a Hamas negotiator in Tehran. Israel's the one starting World War III, and the USA is backing them. I hope they don't do that, man. It's so crazy, man. Why do people have to do this? Lark, you've been here before. The most important thing to remember is that the Federal Reserve of all nations are not going to allow their countries to falter. They must print more money to pay their debt. Amen to that. Amen to that. Totally agree. We have big money printing coming. Look at this. Right here, China's M2 breaking out. U.S. money supply making new all-time highs. That being said, the markets can remain irrational longer than I can remain solvent. If I had zero leverage, and again, I got greedy. I took leverage, right? Some of that was to pay down unexpected expenses, let's say. Some was to pay taxes. Like, screw, I'll pay taxes later, man. Just take some more crypto loans and keep running it. Well, that was not a good call, right? And I have to pay for that. That's fine. So There you go. And yes, guys, this is why I'm not selling 100% of my crypto position, because I'm a true believer in the ways of crypto. But I also like money. And I also like protecting my risk and being able to sleep at night. Okay. So again, you guys can come back and roast me in a week or two and we're higher, but and I'll probably buy back higher, but it'll be fine. Got liquidated, lost 9K. Sorry to hear that, man. Jerome's not going to save crypto. Maybe the banks. My 52, nice. Caught the bottom, man. Caught the bottom with leverage long. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look at the market cheat sheet. Let's go find a market cheat sheet. Let's bring it up real quick. See if we can find it. Stock market cheat sheet. Here we go. Put that on screen for you guys. So, where do you guys think we are? It's an interesting question. Are we at complacency right now? We just need to cool off for the next rally. Are we at hope? Recovery is possible. Well, stock market's been very bullish for a long time. Let's look at the let's bring up the SPX. Man, pouring out for Japanese investors, by the way. These dudes waited 30 years for their index funds, for their index to get back to a new high. It went up like 5% over the high from 30 years ago, only to crash like 20% in like 3 days. What the heck? Anyway, here we go. What do you think is going on here? We just came down. We're very interested to see what U.S. markets do tomorrow. Okay, very interesting. Came down to the 100-day EMA. That's where the SPX is sitting right now. Warren Buffett's sold half his Apple stocks or whatever, but he's also got truckloads of Apple still. He's still the single biggest owner of Apple. So a lot of people are saying, well, this is Warren, sending a signal to the markets. And I don't know. He's probably just managing a bit of risk and taking a bit of money off the table because he's massively in profit, because why the heck not? Anyway, tonight's U.S. Open is going to be very much interesting. Very much. We're looking forward to the U.S. Open. If that comes out good, great. If that comes out bad, hold on to your butts, guys. Holy cow. And a lot of that could depend on what Iran does over the next 24 to 72 hours. Maybe it's going to be a big nothing burger and they're just going to do some, was it kabuki theater or whatever? Like, we'll strike some bases, but we'll call it in ahead of time, because we got to have a show of force, kind of like they did last time. Or has this just been, it's too much for them, assassinating a diplomatic ambassador on their soil? It's quite the escalation. At least the Japanese won't be in New Zealand property for a while. Well, maybe they will. Maybe they've got nowhere else to go. For gains. Lark cycle top in April still. I'm hoping. Again, we're reducing some risk in the portfolio here, but we're still balls to the wall. Guys, it's a big crypto portfolio. I hope we still get a cycle top in March or April. There's still, I think, a very good thesis. Maybe that window closes a bit, the more macro chaos we get, but still a pretty good thesis for seeing maybe a first top for the market cycle as soon as like November, as late as March or April. Maybe that's it for the market. Hard to say if a big U.S. recession comes in. Again, U.S. recession, this has been the most inverted the yield curve has ever been for the longest it's ever been. Last time it was like this was 1929. If you know your history, no, that's not good. Okay. Stock market futures all down. Not a good sign. Swimming in shark-infested waters. Lark, I need some hemorrhoid cream. It's been rough. One of those days. Check Lockheed Martin's war stocks are up, huh? Classic. Lark, don't listen to the haters. Made the right decision for you. You have your hodl bag and de-risk the bit because you want to have cash. Nothing wrong with that. Lark, you lost a lot, I'll be honest. Well, didn't lose a lot because paper gains are never real. Right? And actually, because some of these things are such old holdings or were bought at good enough times, most of the positions that we're selling down are in profit. So that's fine. Or a few things we're selling kind of near break even, whatever, it's all good. But we're getting rid of some of those old altcoins, especially that are not doing a lot. And I've been thinking about doing that for a while anyway. Like, we got a list of stuff like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Well, screw it. Let's do it now. Only about 15% of my assets are in crypto, but they are very in the red. Would you hold top 100 coins in this case? Top 100 coins are definitely the safer coins, right? In crypto. Right. Crypto's crazy. In case you haven't figured it out yet, crypto's risky and you can lose all your money. Risk statement in the description. 15% is not too crazy. I've got about like 80%, a little less now. Of course, we've been selling some of the things down, but about 80% of my net worth in crypto is too much. It's driving me crazy, man. Drive me crazy. I was hoping to de-risk, of course, up in the 90s, and I'll still do that when the time comes too. We'll sell more positions then. But anyway, besides the point. Depends on your risk tolerance, Meadow. If you are somebody who is rather risk averse, and even you asking this question probably says that, you don't need to go too crazy on risk in crypto. You see how the entire crypto market moves together. You know, Bitcoin's kind of the boring asset, but it's also one that dumps the least when the time comes. There's a lot of great altcoins in the top 100, a lot of interesting stuff up there. And if that's kind of your risk range, when bull market conditions return and we start getting more bullish in the market, those have nice potentials for gains. So hopefully we get some nice bullish market conditions returning soon and we don't enter a new period of pain for altcoins, because gosh darn it, hasn't it been hard enough? Lark, do you still have faith in Jupiter? I still like it, still have a big bag. We'll see. I was considering whether or not I even want to unstake that and take some of that money off the table or not. We'll see. Maybe I'll unstake my staking rewards that I got and sell those. Just sold all my alts, moved to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Okay, move. Depends on you. Depends on you. Depends on where your altcoins were you in profit, or had you lost a bit of faith in some of those altcoins? And come on, some of these altcoins, again, like my Manta bags, like, man, that thing's just been rough. That's been rough. Mostly it was airdrop, so it's fine. But it didn't, yeah. Manta. Anyway. If we go into recession now, how long do you think it would take to get back to 60, 70K? Depends on how long the recession lasts, to be honest. If the recession lasts a year, then we're probably not going to see any great things happening in the crypto markets for a year. Stocks have a long way to fall if there's a recession soon, right? In that case, crypto is probably going to get savaged, man. If you think today's rough, wait until the U.S. hits some kind of 1930s-like recession or a 2008-like recession. Remember, crypto wasn't around in 2008. Well, okay, Bitcoin was first released in 2009 as a response to the 2000, you know, it was around that time. Anyway, we haven't had that kind of global financial crisis event. Not saying this is it. Not saying the Japan carry trade is going to be that impactful. Right? Not saying the U.S. recession will be that impactful. There's all these conflicting signs with the U.S. recession too, because we have the U.S. recession indicator flashing, the SOM rule, the Piper-Sandler rule is flashing, the yield curves on inverting. These are all very strong, quote unquote, recession signs. Okay. And if a recession is declared between now and September and rate cuts come, bad news bears. But we also have 2.6% GDP growth for the U.S. economy last quarter. How the heck are you going to tell me we're going into a recession in that situation? Oh, well, unemployment numbers are going up. Yeah, they are, but those also hide certain realities. Maybe more people working online. We have increasing automation in the economy, which sucks for workers, but doesn't necessarily mean a recession's coming. Productivity can stay higher in that situation. Illegal immigrants are part of the people claiming that unemployment benefit now. So these things all come into play. Flash crash. We're going to $35,000 Bitcoin. Mark my words. Eric says, sell what you can now or be sorry later. War is coming. What if your name was Dark Lavis? That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Turn on the money printers. They're coming. They're coming. In the same way, there are recessionary forces. There are forces that'll come out and send risk assets going crazy. The only question is, do we get a final hurrah in the market? One blow off top for Bitcoin and all risk assets, or not? Recession first. Recession first means good night. Good night to your bags. Recession later means you probably have one or two more decent times to take some serious profits off the table. I don't think Iran and Israel are going to get into an all-out war. I hope not. I hope not. It'd be dumb if they do. Come on, guys. Let's not do any of this bullshit. That's, peace and love, man. Peace and love. I hope not. I hope that both sides talk themselves back down from it. We have a little bit of just theater. I'll strike you and you strike us, and everybody's happy now. But we'll see. Lark, what coins are you keeping? We'll do a breakdown of that tomorrow or something like this. But a lot of the altcoins will be sold, or some of the altcoins, we're not going to sell all of them. We're definitely going to sell some of them. Again, we're de-risking a bit here. Some of these things are in nice profits. And it's time to take some money off the table. And it's a totally non-ideal time to do it. And you guys can probably laugh in my face in a week. It'd be great. Haha, look, market rallied and you sold some of your stuff. Fine. All good. We'll have fun with that when it comes. Don't let me forget, guys. Don't let me forget. I'm sure you won't. Lark, you can have a drink after the stream? No, probably not. Let's go out for a walk with wife and the kids. How does talk about a recession just pop up within like 2 days? See, the thing, people have been talking about a recession for a while now, and more things have been starting to happen that are making the markets a little more spooked about the potential of a recession. Some of the stocks with missed earnings, like Intel's down like 20% and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily indicative of the entire economy, but they're going to lay off 15,000 people because their business is doing so bad. And the unemployment trending in the wrong direction is problematic. And last thing you're going to need in this equation to really screw things up is going to be a war in the Middle East, because guess what that's going to do? That's going to send inflation crazy, because suddenly the price of oil is going to spike. Currently, the oil markets don't seem to be pricing in too much chaos risk. Currently. Let's hope cooler heads again prevail this week. And, egg on my face will be great. And then we can just rebuy some positions higher. That's fine. That'll be fine. Check Lockheed Martin. Surging war is coming. Yeah, somebody inside knows. Somebody inside knows. Let's have a look. Lockheed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's very interesting. Look at that. That is not normal. It started July 23rd. Lockheed is up big time. This was right around, oh gosh. Fascinating, isn't it? This is right around the time that I think Netanyahu came to Washington. Obviously, somebody knew some things back then, didn't they? Fascinating. Damn war profiteers. All right. I'm selling everything and living a peaceful life with my USDT. Wolf number 2. Clark, with all this war BS, will crypto be affected? Wouldn't it strengthen? Again, you know, you would think that'd be the case, right? But what happened back in April when we had the little spat between Israel and Iran? Crypto markets crashed hard, super hard. I don't see why they wouldn't go down in this situation, because essentially, again, crypto is a far end risk spectrum asset in the broader investing basket for your average investor. But curious too to see how the BlackRock ETFs fare on Monday. Are we going to see big inflows from BlackRock and friends? I hope so. That could be a good indicator for the market. The flip side is if we see $500 million outflow days, that could be Wall Street de-risking from Bitcoin, thinking that shit's about to hit the fan. We'll see. We'll see. Again, U.S. stock market openings could be pretty good tomorrow. Pretty good indicator of how things are going to play out. Is there a Cinnabon in New Zealand? I don't think so, but I don't know. It's not the kind of place I would go. Just sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum makes me sleep better at night. I know how that feels. This is no halving cycle. What's interesting is chaos can happen at any point in the market. And it's like I said, we have all of our crypto specific things that happen, our hash ribbon indicators and our post Bitcoin halving, all this stuff. But we can really only enjoy those things when macro's doing okay. If the entire macro market goes risks off, it's not going to be good for crypto. Joe says, negative Lark is scaring me. I'm a very blue collar worker with almost everything in Bitcoin. Lark is nervous. I'm concerned. It's like I said, man, there's you might only have, I guess almost everything in Bitcoin. If I was just sitting on spot Bitcoin, I probably wouldn't be very worried, but I've got all kinds of random altcoins that I have, let's just call it, there's a bit of lack of faith in some of those coins, or perhaps they're a bit old, or they're not getting bid. And you just see how the altcoin market's been. So we're getting rid of some of those positions. And if I was just sitting 100% in spot Bitcoin, I'd probably be a lot less worried. Although I still might want to de-risk a bit just to have more cash on hand. Because again, I've been 2 balls to the wall this year and taken not enough off the table when markets were doing better and took too much risk. So I need to have the cash in order to de-risk a bit, still keeping big crypto bags. Anyway, holy cow, we're almost up to an hour here, guys. We'll do a couple more for today and then we'll finish up. Lark, how long will the S&P 500 go down if there's a recession? Depends on how long the recession is, but it could be months. Months, right? Lark, you can do your podcast from a Prius if things get bad. That's true. Can always live in a Prius, man. We'll be okay. What happens if the Democrats win in November? Probably nothing great for crypto, to be honest. Crypto experiment is done, just tulips bulbs in disguise. I completely disagree. Crypto's not going anywhere. Crypto's not going anywhere. Oh, we're a volatile asset class. And if there's a major risk off event for global stock markets, crypto's going to suffer. However, crypto's not going anywhere. This industry's not going anywhere. It's only getting bigger and more important all the time, even if it's wildly volatile. Okay? Cheers for being open with us, Lark. So we do. Share the good, we share the bad. Doesn't always work out the way I want it. At the end of the day, I'm just an investor like you guys. Been around here for years, obviously, but I don't get everything right. Like I said, probably got too greedy this year. taking out loans versus my collateral, not taking enough money off the table and building a stronger cash position, thinking of, well, what if shit hits the fan in the market sooner than I expect? What if I'm wrong? Right? So now I'm paying the price for that. And I cannot tell you guys what to do with your money. I'm not in your position. You're not in my position, right? So got nothing left to sell. How much can I get for my pet goldfish? Keep your pet goldfish, man. You'll need company if the markets go down really bad. Or at least you need somebody to celebrate with if they pump back up and go crazy. Okay, guys, then we're gonna finish up there for right now. We'll be back tomorrow. More fun times, of course. Yeah. Stay safe out there, guys. Try not to lose your heads. Manage your risk. We'll see you next time. Peace.